DSW, birthplace of the humble brag. Here, the shoes are so good, no one would ever know how little you paid, if you didn't go telling everyone, that is. And with never-ending options for every style, mood, and occasion, all at really great prices, we'll definitely give you something to brag about. So go ahead, stock up on fresh sneakers from your favorite brands, or try those boots you always secretly knew you could pull off. Find the shoes that get you, at prices that get your budget, at DSW stores or at DSW.com. Let us surprise you.
If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key, and that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And welcome to the Kulturecast. I am your host, Chris Stachiw, and I am joined by the Emperor. He's been pulling the strings the whole time. The host of the Projection Booth podcast, Mr. Mike White.
McClunky.
MacGuffin. It was all a MacGuffin. All the films were MacGuffins, and to this point, yeah, it's just all a joke. Oh God, it was all a joke, just like Snoke. Boy, we're talking about the most controversial film of 2019. I fucking hate how fucking polarizing these movies have become, as opposed to people just going, yeah, I liked it. And Ewoks are kind of dumb, but other than that, it was a satisfying conclusion. Or the original prequels are bad, and we can all kind of agree on it. Now it's like, no, you just don't get it, okay? It's like poetry, it rhymes. We're talking about Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
It's an instinct. A feeling. The Force brought us together. We're not alone. Good people will fight if we lead them.
People keep telling me they know me. No one does.
But I do.
Long have I waited. And now you're coming together. Is your undoing.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
Confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny. The Force will be with you.
Always.
So, film is directed by J.J. Abrams, written by, let's be honest, who fucking knows? Chris Terrio, supposedly. Colin Trevorrow's probably in there somewhere. J.J. Abrams is in there. I'd like to point out, Chris Terrio has writing credits on Batman v Superman and Justice League. Did anyone see those movies before they let him get their talons into this? Probably not. It's got a whole bunch of people, but the ones that matter, Mark Hamill, I'm just kidding, he's in it, but not really. Spoilers, by the way. Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, and Oscar Isaacs make up the people that you should expect to return. Some new faces, some people who should never have been in this movie but are somehow for whatever reason. But before we get to that, I am curious, Mike, do you know the significance of the day, October 30th, 2012?
No.
That is the day Star Wars was sold to Disney, and that is the day that Star Wars stopped mattering, in my opinion. Looking back on it now, where we are, 7 years later, 3 films in a trilogy, plus 2 films that most people can't even be bothered to remember existed. However, I'm curious, you went and saw it in theaters. I didn't see it in theaters, but I have seen it. I'm curious, Mr. White, what did you think going, sitting down, spending your hard-earned cash to watch the final film in the J.J. Abrams trilogy without purpose or direction?
I just felt exhausted afterwards. It just felt like we are going to shove everything we possibly can into this thing and just batter you with as many twists and turns as we possibly can and try our best to undo everything that the last movie did, which tried to undo a lot of things that the previous movie did.
Yeah, but the one thing you didn't get to hear was the message from the Emperor, which was only able to be heard
on Fortnite?
Fortnite?
WTF. You would think that would be
First off, Boomer, calm down
movie.
With the WTF. Calm down with the WTF, Boomer. I'm kidding. But seriously, even as someone who theoretically could play Fortnite, when I found out that that's where this quote-unquote message was, that was my response.
That should have been the opening or the conclusion of the first act,
Or maybe the conclusion of the last film. Oh, but wait, no one who worked on the last film, other than Kathleen Kennedy, had anything to do with this movie.
It's just such a mess.
It is the definition of a mess from the first scene. Because in the first, maybe not the first scene, but the first 10 minutes, you have the Emperor reintroduced. And it's almost reintroduced with no idea of the significance of what that means. Because if you've seen the original trilogy, which I would assume anyone who's listening to this podcast has, you know that he dies. And then obviously in the Legends canon, he is brought back and he becomes Luke's mentor and Luke becomes the bad guy and there's all this shit, but that's all been retconned out because, Star Wars, Disney, fun.
I would like if I didn't have to do homework before I see a movie.
Right? Like, that's just one facet of the mess. Look, we talked about Dune 2 podcasts ago. How is Dune a more coherent film than this? For real. Like, you have to do some homework for Dune, but at the end of the day, it's a coherently told story. This movie is all over the fucking place. Like, it's a mess. There's so many problems that are just, it's like this whole J.J. Abrams thing with the mystery box. You know what? We should start calling it his problem.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Box. It's like a problem box with interior compartments that lead to more problems. Instead of it being a mystery box, it's just a problem and you open it, and then there's more problems inside. It's like a box filled with hornets that inside each compartment is also filled with bees and anthrax. It's like, this is just a big problem and you're just letting it out and you just don't care. You just want to be done. How many franchises have you wandered into, completely destroyed, and then said, well, I'm done now. I've left my mark on something I grew up with.
Yeah, Mission Impossible 3, maybe the second weakest of the franchise.
I mean, I don't dislike Mission Impossible 3, to be honest.
I do.
Okay, I mean, like, if I'm talking about a J.J. Abrams thing that I don't mind, that is the one thing. Like, his Star Trek movies have been,
I didn't mind the first one, but the second one was just an abomination.
Oh, you mean the one with Khan, but not Khan?
It's not Khan. It's the same shit that he was doing with Lost. You know, it's not
Or that
this.
they did with James Bond at the same time. But he wasn't involved with James Bond, to be fair. They decided to destroy that of their own volition. But, yeah, I mean, this movie is... Look, I had my own quibbles with The Last Jedi. I think The Last Jedi is also a bad movie. Sorry. I had my own quibbles with The Last Jedi, but the issue that I had with Last Jedi is that it just didn't seem to understand the universe in which it existed, which is fine if you're doing what Rian Johnson claimed he was doing, again, claimed, and that's, you know, taking the source material and doing something different and unique with it, which is fine. You're allowed to do that. No one is telling you not to. However, when you do that, don't be surprised at the backlash you're getting, because some people are obsessed with Star Wars. I'm not one of them. I like Star Wars. I think my love for Star Wars has been greatly diminished as I've grown older, as I've found other things that truly I latch onto. I don't know if I'm speaking for you, Mike, but it may be the same way for things that you liked when you were in your teens that now have kind of fallen by the wayside for you as well. But this movie just seems like a complete and utter 180 into... And it's like a 180 that just can't stop spinning. It's just spinning. Well, always spinning. Spinning. Always spinning.
It doesn't even know how to tell a good story, which is really just so disappointing. I mean, this whole idea of having to get a thing, to get another thing, to get another thing, and that it all basically amounts to nothing, kind of like that whole big subplot at the casino in The Last Jedi.
Sir, Canto Bite. Canto Bite.
Sure.
With the horses. Again with the goddamn space horses.
And it's just... The thing that she needed was in Kylo Ren's ship, even though I thought she destroyed one version of his ship. I guess he's got a lot of X-Wings that he can just take out for a joyride whenever he wants.
Sir, the thing that she needed was within her the whole time.
Sure.
So I think if we really want to dig down, because look, our opinion here, not to diminish our opinions, but our opinions here are going to be viewed as a quote-unquote dime a dozen for the angry nerds on the internet. I'm here to tell you I'm not angry, because frankly, I don't know about you, Mike, I just don't fucking care at this point.
You're just mad because Daisy Ridley is a woman and she's a female protagonist, and you cannot take that.
Right. That's why one of my best friends is a woman, and I just don't give a shit about gender politics, because the kind of people that bring that shit up seriously are just trying to bait you into getting into a fight with them.
Debate me.
Do it, motherfucker. Do it. I'm going to fight you right now. I mean, like, I'm not wrong. Like, people who do that, for the most part, are just trying to bait you into getting in a fight with.
I just think you're getting a little woke for this episode.
A little woke? Sir, it's Star Wars. Don't you understand how woke we have to be to approach this film now? It used to be about space wizards. Now it's about gender politics. The thing that I think really needs to be mentioned and talked about more than how bad this movie is, or how bad Last Jedi is, or if you don't like Force Awakens, they went into this trilogy without a game plan.
What the fuck, man?
Right? And I'm not going to blame Kathleen Kennedy. Like, I don't think it's entirely her fault. And again, I don't want to get into the he said, she said, blaming a woman. I don't want to do any of that, because there's going to be enough, again, of that on the internet as well. what I want to point out is anyone who at Lucas or Disney went into creating a new trilogy of films without a game plan, that is not how you are successful. And look, you can look at Lucas, you can look at the prequels and say, well, they weren't successful and he had a game plan. You're right, they weren't successful, but
his game plan changed. You have to admit, if you
his
don't
game plan changed 100%. I mean, Jar Jar was supposed to be the villain.
I don't think he was supposed to be the villain, but midichlorians are never mentioned again after the backlash against those. And the whole, he would listen to what the fans were bitching about and then twist and turn and go here and there. And just, it's ridiculous the way that he just kowtowed. That's what they did here. Right? Exactly. And that's just it's spelling your doom.
Right. Look, as fans, our opinions, how do I say they shouldn't matter, but they shouldn't fucking matter?
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't matter at all. Our opinion is, look, movies are subjective, which means, art is subjective, movies are art, therefore movies are subjective, which means how you enjoy them and interpret them is entirely up to you. And the thing that gets lost here is, look, Matt Campagna, my good friend Matt, who is a Canadian film director, who him and I have gotten into all of 2 disagreements on this podcast, once on Star Wars and once on Ghostbusters 2016, which, again, still the hill he wants to die on. That's the 2 times we've gotten into a disagreement about movies. And this Star Wars thing here, to me, it's just not worth it. Like, they don't know what they were doing with this movie. Clearly, they don't know what they were doing with this trilogy, because I guarantee you, if they had known what they were doing with this trilogy, Palpatine would have been in the trilogy from the fucking get-go. Even like little foreshadowing hints. I mean, just look at what Marvel's done. They should have treated Emperor Palpatine like Thanos. Like, he is an actual big villain that is worthy of fear and terror, not just a guy who shows up at the beginning of the 3rd movie and goes, I've been here the whole time. Like, really? That's what you're doing with, like, character who was built up through not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4 or 5, but 6 fucking movies, man. At this point, this is the 7th movie he's been in. That's the crazy part, because people want to go, well, prequels don't count, but they do. You can't undo what they did.
And it's such a play-by-play of the 3rd movie of the first trilogy and the 3rd movie of the second trilogy. And it's just like, come on, guys, you have to try to be more original than that. And I just don't get it. I don't. And by him being there, it takes away from...
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan. #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
So much of the rest of the story that it just, Ben Solo, he's supposed to have an arc. He kind of does, but it really gets just kind of cut off because of the Emperor. And Rey's arc feels like it's very abbreviated. And
I hate to break it to you, but I don't think Rey has had an arc in any of these films.
I want to like Rey as a character so much. But
how do you like a character that's perfect from the get-go?
But she just suffers so much from all that fan backlash. It's like we hear time and again, oh my God, she didn't have any training, blah, blah, blah. So she spends the first act of this film training. And it's like, she should be on the mission with the rest of the people rather than hanging out on this planet and interacting with outtakes of Carrie Fisher.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like you mentioned already. In my mind, because I actually liked Rey in Force Awakens. Last Jedi, it's like, why does she need to train? Well, we saw this with Luke. Like, why are you doing this again? Oh, it's like poetry, it rhymes. All right, George, calm down. Why, like, the real question we have to ask is, why did they do any of the stuff with Rey when this was going to be the outcome? When she was already a very sensitive Force user who was clearly gifted because of, now we know why, because she's of the Palpatine bloodline, which, I mean, let's not even get into the fact of Palpatine fucking or having kids or any of that. Just, it's like in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, when you find out that Voldemort had a daughter. It's like, why? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? And what corner are you trying to write yourself out of?
This whole movie just kept reminding me of other better trilogies. You know, when Lando shows up, you know, I know that Ryan George likened it to the whole on your left moment of Avengers Endgame. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, I look for me to the east on the fifth day, you know, and I'm just like, I thinking of Gandalf showing up and saving the day with the Battle of Helm's Deep. And I'm just, the whole time, like, I'm thinking of ring wraiths for the Knights of Ren. What the fuck are the Knights of Ren? And why are they just hanging out? And you
just didn't read the comic book that their entire backstory. Just like you didn't play Fortnite last week, bro. Like you just weren't part of the ARG alternate reality game and the Vivar RE and the PQSW. Like, fuck off. Like, really? This is a fucking movie. It doesn't need all that shit. You know how I know that? Because the first 3 fucking movies didn't need it.
Nope. Didn't need any of that stuff.
And because we can watch movies in 2019 that stand alone by themselves without any of this shit.
And if you go ahead,
go ahead.
You can make your little nods to Ashoka or whoever the fuck it is from like Rebels or whatever. You can go ahead and have those little nods in there, but don't make the plot reliant upon that thing. You have to balance that stuff out. Go ahead, put your little Easter eggs and all that kind of stuff in there. That's fine. So you know, like, oh, well, that guy is this guy's brother, blah, blah, blah. But when I'm watching the movie, I don't want to have to think about that stuff. I want to be able to take a plot, follow the plot, understand it, root for the characters, understand what's going on, watch them, feel for them, experience the whole movie, and not have to be constantly like, oh, well, what's the meaning of that particular thing that went back to, you know, issue 34 of the first round of the comics, but was not proved canon by this other book that came out, and then there's this role-playing game that happened to mention this guy, and yeah, I don't need that.
Well, the other thing, and this ties directly into what you're talking about, the weird thing about all this, so let's go back to 2012, right, when Lucas was sold to Disney, and they did the Legends extended universe, which is essentially, we are saying what can and cannot be considered canon now. Why did they do that? What was gained?
It's very important to some people.
You set a... No, I get that. And are we talking about people at Disney or people in the fan community?
Talking about fan community.
Okay, I actually think that you could apply that to... It's very important to Disney to have what I would consider to be an unequivocally clean slate. Because that's what they wanted so they could do shit like this. Because they couldn't bring Palpatine back if they didn't get rid of all the other stuff that was canon already. Because he's already come back in the books. He's already come back in a clone body, and he had Luke as his apprentice. They couldn't do any of that because that was canon. That was the book canon. And that's fine. The book canon was fine. The book canon was actually... Looking at it now, it's better than what we got with these 3 movies. How do I know this? Because I've actually read those books long ago when no one even thought that Star Wars was ever going to get anything past the prequels. Because George said, "I'm done. Everything's done. If I want to do something, it's going to address the early on story of Luke Skywalker's father, Anakin." So the whole takeaway with this whole new trilogy and whatever comes from here is not only did they uncanon things that people liked, things that addressed characters and things that happened in this movie, but then they went and fucking destroyed it anyways. They said, well, we're going to uncanonize it, and then we're just going to take it. It's like, you know, giving someone a sandbox full of toys and then taking the toys and breaking all of them. It's like, I don't care. And that's what this whole thing feels like, is it's just they don't care. And that's fine. They're not entitled to care. And at the end of the day, I mean, look, people are defending him on Twitter. And people are saying how great this movie is. Just go have fun with it. Was this movie even fun?
No.
It felt like a chore.
It did, and...
It was like 2 hours. Like, that's the crazy part. This is the end of the Skywalker saga. And it's not even as long as Endgame. Really.
And but it just had too much stuff in it. I mean, just all those...
I would make the case it didn't have enough.
I'm talking about all those side quests and stuff. It's like, you got to get the dagger, you got to do this, you got to go here, and then you get the dagger, you line it up at the certain thing on a certain day, and she just happens to be at the right place at the right time, looking through the thing, and it's just like, who gives a shit, you know?
But they need to take one Kadam off for Allah. That's what it felt like. Well, it felt very Indiana Jones, didn't it?
You want to talk about Indiana Jones? How about Chewbacca and that ship that he got on? I was just like, oh no, Marion. And then that he's alive, I was like, well, now I kind of feel cheated. You just had me give you this emotional response of Chewbacca dying because we know you're not afraid to kill off main characters in this series. So I was very surprised when Chewbacca died. And then, nope, he's not dead. So in this whole movie, just every single time they do something, they take it back. It's like she stabs Kylo Ren, then she heals him. You know, Chewbacca dies, no, he's okay. You know, and it's constantly doing that.
And they showed Chewbacca coming back like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, it was not.
They didn't even give you a chance to internalize what that meant.
I hadn't even dried my tears yet.
Oh god damn you! Listen here, man. You're making a mockery of this fan base, and I don't appreciate it, okay?
It's just, and yeah, why are you bringing back Palpatine as your bad guy? It is just so weak. And this whole thing of him secretly building all of these ships that
and
all
being
have...
the one who made Snoke?
Snoke
was just a clone?
Yeah, they all have planet-killing abilities. Why? How did all of the ships in other parts of the galaxy suddenly start falling after the ships on the one planet were taken down? It just didn't make any sense. And then we have to get fucking Ewoks and Bespin and all this shit. And it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, are we going to play the fucking song again from the third movie?
They should have. I honestly would have found that to be a more apt callback than what they ended up doing.
It was just...
What about Rose Tico? Oh yeah, nobody liked her in the last movie, so she's in this movie for 2 minutes. The Holdo maneuver, remember that from the last movie? They literally shit on it in this movie. They shit on it. I mean, look, and I didn't like it in the last movie, but at the same time, the dichotomy between two different factions of people making these films is apparent. You would never see in a Marvel movie, except for when they did the thing with Rhodey, with Terrence Howard being recast as Don Cheadle.
Right.
You would never see them shit on the other movie. Take a jab at it that's not a fun or playful jab. The thing in this movie was a very all right, everyone's quiet. What about the Holdo maneuver? That's dumb. Okay, Jesus Christ, okay.
Well, and then Luke, when she throws her lightsaber away, and he's like, oh, you have to, treat a weapon like this with more respect. And it's like...
Dog, you did that in the last movie. What the fuck?
Exactly. And I'm like, oh, really?
Now that he's a Force ghost, he cares, bro. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, and let's... Oh, my God. Speaking of Force ghosts, can we talk about Leia? Can we talk about that mess? That whole... you saw how bad it looked with Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One. And you just said, yeah, sure, let's keep doing it. Because Carrie Fisher's not,
alive.
Yeah, she's dead. So, who cares? And her daughter's in this movie, so Billy Lords must have signed off on it. Or... probably was just held hostage by money. That's probably what it is. We own the likes and we own the rights to the likeness of your mother. Too bad. Tough shit, asshole. So.
Well, whose likeness was that supposed to be when they did that unnecessary flashback to the training of Luke and Leia?
They literally had them with helmets on. And then they opened their helmets. You don't have to.
Anything like her. I even took a screen grab today and was looking at it. I'm like, no. It kind of looks like Luke, but it does not look anything like Carrie Fisher in any incarnation, especially post Return of of the Jedi.
Thanks for pointing out the obvious, bro.
Oh, man.
I went on your Twitter to see the salt, and only one person was salty out of the 4 people that posted, and I was slightly disappointed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, there's so much...
Spoilers.
Sorry, guys. The issue with a lot of the stuff in this movie is what it reminds me of, some of the choices, the stylistic choices, if you would call them that. What I find bizarre is it's stuff that you could have outright avoided. You didn't have to put that in there. We don't need to see that. Frankly, it didn't add anything.
The introduction of so many of the new characters didn't need to be there. I didn't need to see Charlie from Lost in there. I didn't need that.
He was there the whole time. You don't get it. He's been here the whole time. Just hiding in the background.
I didn't need Dio or whatever the fuck that little holy diver droid was.
Voiced by J.J. Abrams.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm just like, oh, cool. Look, it's another toy opportunity. I sure as fuck didn't need Kerry Russell. What the fuck, man?
Well, it was trying to bring Poe Dameron's character back towards heteronormativity.
Yeah, and then also like...
He's not a gay character, we promise. He wants to kiss a woman, guys.
And it's just fucking JJ casting all of his friends and just making sure they get checks. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. The whole thing of Greg, when he comes over and he's just like, oh, we can't contact the Falcon. And they have that like moment of levity where they're like, oh, do you have to be so negative all the time? And it's just like, just cut this scene. Cut this scene out. I mean...
It's Nap Wexley, bro. He's a character people cared about. That's why they showed him die.
The fan edit community is going to have a field day with this film. They are hopefully going to clean up a lot of this shit, but it might end up being about 90 minutes long, just like the fan edit I've just watched of The Last Jedi, which was actually a movie. And I couldn't believe that they managed to salvage a movie out of that thing.
Did you hear how long the original cut for this movie was?
Oh, what, 5 hours?
4 hours.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine that? Like, what?
Would it have been more side quests?
Well, I know what they took out. They took out stuff with Rose Tico. They took out a supposed side plot of Janna being Lando's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
They took out, I mean, because clearly she's supposed to be his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
I know people were like, well, he's hitting on her at the end of the movie. If that's what you think, what the fuck?
I mean...
How did you read that scene?
All black people are related in the Star Wars universe. I'm waiting for Finn to be her brother.
I mean, you know what? You know how we know that this is a coward's film universe? Because not only did they not pull the trigger on introducing a gay couple in Poe and Finn, which they've kind of been building to.
Yeah.
They also had Finn, one of 4 black characters in the history of Star Wars, end up with the other black character.
Right.
One of 4 black characters. It's like, oh, by the way.
No miscegenation, please.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. But it's, and don't, oh, by the way, let's not forget. They also hinted at the fact that Finn's character is Force sensitive.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right. I don't give a shit.
Finn and Poe are the most worthless characters for the trilogy since Qui-Gon Jinn. Without a doubt.
I so wanted them to be something, and I wanted
Well, in the
Finn...
first film, they're given, and you're given the idea in the first film that they're supposed to be.
Well, and Finn, I was just like, oh, wow, this guy's got this, whole thing that he used to be a stormtrooper and stuff. What's going to happen when he goes on to this Star Destroyer and there are all of those stormtroopers and he has to shoot his way out? He's just hooting and hollering and have a great time just massacring all these people that used to maybe be his friends. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's how you're going to play it. And I'm just sitting there the whole time going, okay, yeah, this is exactly like the escape from the Death Star in the first movie. What the fuck? And then even then, it's like their little ship lands on the Star Destroyer, and I'm like, okay, now they're going to have to do some sort of subterfuge to get out and blah, 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 blah. No, they just shoot the 2 stormtroopers. I'm like, really? This whole place wouldn't be flooded with other stormtroopers after you just murder these 2 guys on the deck of the Star Destroyer? And then what's Richard E. Grant just hanging out on that deck later on? I'm just like, wait, no, he's probably in an office someplace. He's not going to be hanging out on the deck of the Star Destroyer, and then Richard E. Grant,
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times, or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months, or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
Let's talk first about the whole revelation of Hux being this convenient mole that just happened to be put into this plot, which gets brought up and resolved within 5 minutes.
He's the one friend who you have over at board game night when you're playing a competitive game with 5 or 6 people who knows they can't win, so all they do is try to make sure the person who is in first place doesn't win either. That is his whole motivation through this movie. I just want to see Kylo Ren fail. I don't care if the Empire succeeds or fails. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
J.J. Abrams doesn't care if he succeeds. He just wants Rian Johnson to fail.
I mean, honestly, I'll tell you what. Hux's motivation, if you look at the last 2 films, kind of makes sense because Kylo Ren antagonized the living shit out of him. But it's not given any room to breathe. Frankly, I mean, I don't know about you, but his motivation kind of makes sense.
Well, Hux
it's not unbelievable, let me put it that way.
Right. Hux was the number 2 guy for the last 2 movies. He's number 2 to Snoke, he's number 2 to Kylo Ren, and then all of a sudden we introduce Richard E. Grant, who I love Richard E. Grant, but what the fuck is he doing there? What is he doing in this movie?
So he could post Twitter videos of him crying at how great the movie is.
Oh my god.
That wasn't planned, guys, we promise. In
the C-3PO shit with him not being able to translate the Sith language, so we have to have a whole plot of that thing going on as well.
And then it's retconned in the movie. And then he retconned it within the film.
Right.
Within the fucking movie. Within 10 minutes of it happening. They're like, but R2-D2's got a backup. Even after you said he didn't.
Right.
Fuck us. We're done. You know what? This movie and Lucas and Disney's side with Star Wars, because I'm not going to say anything about Disney's arm of Marvel. Disney's side with Star Wars is like the WWE. If you watch WWE programming, you know what I'm talking about. They treat their audience like idiots, like they don't remember what happened a week ago. It's like, I guarantee you people know every fucking minutia of The Last Jedi. And you're expecting that we don't. Why? Why do you think that? We clearly, people who love this franchise are picking this movie apart with tweezers, man. Like, they love this shit. They love it, and I don't blame them for loving it. But at the same time, the people who make these movies are treating them like dum-dums.
I still don't know why C-3PO had a red arm. He felt the need to point it out in the first movie, and I still never found out what happened.
JJ, bro. It's JJ.
I'm sure there's like a whole book that's dedicated to C-3PO's red arm.
This is the Holdo maneuver? You ever heard of the JJ maneuver? Come in, destroy your franchise. Nope, right out. It's the JJ maneuver. Just like light speed bumping or whatever the fuck that was at the beginning of the movie that was unexplained, but they did. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sure. Or when the Jedis can just magically heal themselves and bring each other back to life from the dead. Okay.
Well, you know, Baby Yoda did it. That was
how dare you bring Baby Yoda into this conversation? His name shall not be sullied with this film.
That was one, I was laughing at the movie theater because there's a moment where they start talking about Palpatine, and it's before the rebels know that Palpatine is alive, and you hear on the soundtrack, ever so faint, it wasn't in the version that, or probably was, but you couldn't hear it in the version that you watched earlier. It is the line of him saying to Anakin about you can even bring people back from the dead. That line is just like on the soundtrack, just like super low mixed. And I was like, really? You're going to do that right here? Wow.
I just wondered, where was Rose Tico? Where was Rose Tico? She was such a engaging, interesting character in the last film. She was such a good, well thought out character. And where was she in this film? Oh, right. Sidelined because she wasn't in the last film. But you tried to force her to be one. And then JJ said, stay in the background.
She's back in the kitchen making me a sandwich.
Yeah, it's just, oh, dear God. This movie is, I'm not surprised. I don't know how you feel about this. I'm not surprised I didn't like this movie. What I'm more surprised is how poorly this movie landed. Like, it's kind of a thud.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting it to not be good, but I wasn't expecting it to be so bad.
We knew it was going to have to make, like, a couple... we knew that it was going to have to do some, what's the word? Of trickery with the previous film, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad.
No.
And boy...
To just blatantly retcon between two movies, I don't know if I've ever seen... Maybe Highlander 2 to the original Highlander. I think that might be the worst that I've ever seen something retconned so bad with the whole planet Zeiss and stuff. And we all know how much everybody loves Highlander 2.
So we've been piling on this movie, and our third compatriot, who was supposed to be here, is actually going to be joining us here for a little bit. Because, you know what? It's not fair that we have been hating on this movie so much. We kind of probably need a third opinion to balance out our terrible opinions of this movie. So, Matt, now that you're here, you're here. Make your case as to why you like this movie, even though you like The Last Jedi. And I want to know the pros that you used for The Last Jedi, because the pros that you used when in your defense of Last Jedi were just c'est magnifique.
Yes, I mean, Last Jedi to me is still, I'm going to go ahead and say the most satisfying Star Wars film. I did a rewatch of everything but Solo because, I mean, who am I? I rewatched everything but Solo, and at the end of watching, 10 movies, including the new one, I've got to say that The Last Jedi is my favorite Star Wars film. Now, we're already into the spoilers, I imagine.
You know what? Do yourself a favor. When this comes out, listen to everything up until the point you got up. Because, you're going to... Now, my friend, you are in the den of the lions.
Boy.
We're gnashing our teeth, and boy, we're hungry.
Very exciting. Okay. Well, for me, I enjoyed the fact that we continued the idea of Rey's identity, going from Rey Nobody to and this moment where maybe this isn't going to be Star Wars exceptionalism, where it's about one special kid. And I thought it was neat that we explored that in The Last Jedi. And, I'm not going to pretend like anybody plans this shit ahead of time. They're making this up as they go along. But I've got to say that taking her dealing with being nobody and not being some important person, and then finding out that she is the most evil possible offspring, and then choosing her own identity instead of saying, well, I guess this is the thing I am. I'm just burdened with being this thing. Deciding that she doesn't care if she's a Palpatine, that she is a Skywalker, is a fascinating, beautiful identity story, and I think that's gorgeous.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times, or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months, or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror. We'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
And, it undermines elements of The Last Jedi, and that's
when
life.
When you say elements, do you mean the entire movie? Is that the word you're using? Is that how we're defining elements in this discussion?
No, I mean, a lot of people bitch and moan about how Luke Skywalker wasn't the Luke Skywalker I remembered, and it's like, yeah, he's Obi-Wan Kenobi now. He's a hermit, he's a jackass, get over it. But when we managed to look at the arc that Luke had from the beginning of The Last Jedi to the end, where he decides to reconnect himself to the Force and sacrifice himself doing the thing he thinks is the most ridiculous possible thing, which is take on the whole First Order himself. I think we see Luke become that beacon of hope at the end of The Last Jedi that he always was for people in the original trilogy. And in this film, he received that redemption in the previous one, so he's allowed to be the from a certain point of view sort of retcon of what we thought we knew in The Last Jedi and what we learn now in the final trilogy. I mean, what we're expecting from a Star Wars film is that some kid comes out of nowhere in the first one. In the second one, we find out some shock about the parentage. And then in the third one, we find out that the female hero is actually connected to the family of the heroes. And that's exactly what happened in this. So as far as I'm concerned, this hit every Star Wars marker all the way through, Last Jedi included.
Oh my God. Mike, you got anything?
No, I was just kind of hoping they might actually do something new rather than just do a rerun.
I don't know. When we got something new in The Last Jedi, I mean, half the fanboys lost their minds.
But The Last Jedi wasn't good, though.
It was brilliant, and it was new. It was all the things you want.
Brilliant. God damn. Okay, hold on a second. Let me ask you something. As someone who has now said that Last Jedi is your favorite movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you not
my favorite Star Wars movie. That's a very low bar.
Right. You're right.
These are space wizards for children. This is a very low bar.
Don't go to that fucking argument. Get the fuck out of here. That argument's some asshole on the internet's argument. These are adults talking. Not babies. Not babies on YouTube.
But this is the thing about Star Wars. This is not Straczynski. This is not Tolkien. This is not someone who planned 9 brilliant films and we're watching it all come to execution. We're watching people make shit up as they go along, like frigging 1960s Star Trek. And they're telling us one good story after another. And if we're trying to hold it to a Kevin Feige type of...
this to Star Trek, because Star Trek 1960s is better than this.
Yeah, but there's no story arc in Star Trek 1960s. Nobody's planning ahead.
There's no story arc or planning ahead in this.
Exactly. That's why I'm making the comparison. There's no planning ahead. J.J. Abrams had
planning ahead. They were able to execute in Star Wars. Or in Star Trek, excuse me.
Well, I mean, they were able to execute one episode after another, and when you're making 22 of them, if 1 or 2 of them suck, you're not going to lose your mind. But when you're making 3 of them, if 1 or 2 of them suck, you have pooched a franchise. Oh, I mean, for me, these 2 films are clearly in dialogue, and I don't think they're diametrically opposed necessarily. They're in dialogue. We managed to show that Leia had Force powers in The Last Jedi, and anybody who bitches about that now, well, guess what? Now you get to see that she became a Jedi Knight. So, hey, convincing enough that blue sword with a helmet for half the scene, close enough. I go into a Star Wars movie, I want to have a good time. And as soon as they said Rey Palpatine, I was like, ugh, okay, all right. We're telling a story about identity that is a new story. We're retconning something we thought about in a previous Star Wars film. And honestly, that's nothing new. When we have George Lucas decide that instead of having Luke's father killed by Vader, Luke's father is Vader, that was not his plan. He came up with that for the second movie, and that's fine. It's a cool move, and I'm happy to watch that move happen every time. And I feel like we got that again, where we were told one thing about our character's parentage, and then we learned something different. Doesn't break my heart.
I just don't
know.
Hey, man,
it's just retcon.
I don't know why she had to be somebody important's daughter, and I don't know why Palpatine had to be part of this movie. It's like we've seen it.
Palpatine had to be... The reason Palpatine had to be a part of this movie is because this movie is not just a great ending for 3 films. It has to be a great ending for 6 films and a great ending for 9 films.
But
and
it's not even a great ending for 1 film.
I think it's a completely suitable ending for a very up and down nostalgic trip down Star Wars memory lane. This was exactly the way this trilogy should end. And I feel like it does a great job of also ending Luke Skywalker's storyline, and it does a great job of bringing Palpatine's storyline to a close. It's pretty cool, especially considering the fact that in George Lucas's original plan, Palpatine didn't show up until Episode 9 anyway, and dispatching him in Episode 6 was just so that George Lucas could stop making Star Wars movies. I mean, the thing about Return of the Jedi is it's not a great movie. It's not a great Star Wars movie. It's not great on its own.
It's better than this.
No, I don't think so. No, I mean, I don't really like Ewoks, but I'm just not a fan of a movie with the exact same ending as the one that they started it with. Coming up with "We made another Death Star" is the boringest possible ending. In the second scene of the movie. I know, it's not like they're giving away Act 3. Because they didn't plan ahead. Planning ahead, I agree with you. Sure, that's a terrible way to make a trilogy. That's why Chris Nolan's Batman movies suck the bag. There's no planning. They're terrible Batman movies. There is no arc to it. They're shit. But we have the same problem here with Star Wars, where 3 movies made in basically a vacuum, trying to follow up the next one, wind up not being a great trilogy. Absolutely. This problem happens routinely. But as far as bringing Palpatine back, I've been reading extended universe, now legend stories of Palpatine's clones on Exegar since I was 12 years old, guys.
But that shit doesn't matter anymore, though. I'm telling you, like, I'm right there with you, but it's like retcon now.
This shit does matter. This shit does matter because when they're building stories, they have volumes to work with, and so we bitch at them when they come up with something new. We should be pleased with them when they reach into the cool stuff that worked and bring it back. When they brought Thrawn back for the cartoons, that's brilliant.
Think about the Marvel universe, where you've got all of those stories. You've got 60 years of stories or whatever, and you can take those stories, twist them, and actually give you something new, rather than just here's exactly what happened in issue 235 of X-Men. You can take those things and give them new spin and have something new.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times, or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months, or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
The audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, I, your wonky yet affable host Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family, and available wherever you get your podcasts.
And have something where you don't have to have read the fucking comic books. You can actually enjoy the movies for what they are, as movies, as whole encapsulated things that belong to a bigger piece, which ultimately puts together this huge 21 film arc of of the whole Marvel universe. It's just like, okay, great. And that Feige didn't have all this stuff worked out at the beginning, but he sure as hell managed to work his way into it as they went along. It was fantastic.
Give Kevin Feige.
The man planned a decade. Come on, the man planned a decade. I'm all for giving Kevin Feige Star Wars.
Kathleen Kennedy he wouldn't can get fired or something. I mean, someone has got to take responsibility for this film underperforming, and it's not going to be J.J. Abrams. It's not.
It underperformed by like $15 million.
It's a lot of money, man.
It's going to make $1 billion, and everyone's going to be fine.
The movie theater I was at. The movie theater I was at for Endgame, there were no parking spots at all that were filled. Everything in the entire lot completely filled up. We had to park at like a Thai restaurant next door. There were plenty of spots. I pulled right up front for the third screening of the day. There was nobody there. The first few rows were completely empty. I had room next to me on either side. This movie, it does not feel like it is performing at any sort of a great level. And I think people were burned by The Last Jedi.
It made over $170 million just in one country.
I'm giving you what I saw with my own eyes.
It made It's already made $1/3 billion.
Yes. You can tell me that, but I'm telling you what I saw with my own eyes, my feeling.
My theater,
sitting there.
They couldn't contain all the people lined up for one theater at the cinema I was at.
Why do people even line up for movies these days? You pre-buy your tickets.
My response is the best response. Who lines up for movies these days, anyways? You fucking proletariat. You should buy your tickets.
I specifically bought tickets for a fan event that didn't have pre-assigned seats because I knew that meant there'd be a line, and I love standing in a line.
You're there for a fan event, of course it's going to be full.
Biased opinion now, Matt. You just undermined your entire argument by saying
I'm talking Saturday morning. Saturday morning of opening weekend, not a fan event. I'm not there Thursday fucking night or Friday night.
Come on, Matt.
I'm there at a regular matinee show.
Nobody cares when you went. What matters is that it made $160 million in one country and has already passed $1/3 billion. This movie's not going to make Endgame money, but nobody ever has.
We're just talking about money rather than it actually being any good or bad. Sorry, but it was a major part of my childhood. I was 5 years old when I saw the first one. I was 8 when I saw the second one. I love those first two movies, and it's just been downhill ever since then, and it just continues to be diminishing returns. Is this as bad as the prequels? No. Is this bad? No. Yes.
I agree.
It's not bad.
Yes.
Honestly, it's not. This is not a bad film.
But here's the thing, Matt.
Attack of the Clones is a bad film. Phantom Menace is a bad film. Sith is a bad film. But I wouldn't say any of the films in the new sequel series are bad. I would say all of them are better than Return of the Jedi, and only one of them is better than Empire. And that's a pretty good series.
None of them are better than Empire. I'm sorry.
Okay, Matt, do you
just said flat out I'm wrong? Well, you're wrong.
Okay, hold on. Guys, chill. Okay, chill. We've got only a couple more minutes left. Okay. I got 2 questions and then we're out of here. Matt, 2 questions for you. Do you agree that art is subjective?
Oh, of course.
Are movies art?
No, movies are business. Show business.
No. You saw the trap and you jumped to the left. You rolled a natural D20, folks. You bastard. God damn you.
It's over, Chris. I have the high ground.
You have no ground, sir. Look, I can respect your opinion finding these movies entertaining or any of those things. However, I am with Mike on this, and this is, again, diametrically opposed. We have been from time to time, Matt.
Every now and again.
But
I mean, you're going to love the new Ghostbusters movie, and I'm going to hate it.
Oh, fuck you. You want to die on this hill again, motherfucker? Let's go. No, but seriously, I mean, the thing about this, and I agree with Mike 100%, is these films were a big part of my childhood because, and I'm sure they were yours as well, Matt. I mean, that let's not measure our fucking Schwartzes here. Well, I love Star Wars and I got a tattoo of a fucking lightsaber or whatever. Fine, who gives a shit,
guys? The Return of the Jedi bed sheets that I slept in throughout my childhood prove it. I have been obsessed with this.
No one is doubting. Yeah, no one is doubting anyone's fucking fandom. But the issue is now that we have gotten older, now that we are approaching these films as adults from different backgrounds, with different life experiences, with different things that motivate us, that drive us, that are part of our internal engine of existence, we all look at these differently. I mean, if the three of us were all 15 going to see Star Wars and we were doing a podcast right now, I don't know, maybe we'd all be like, yeah, it was fucking so fucking cool, man, blah, whatever.
And I envy those kids because they just went into a movie about space wizards and had a friggin' great time.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss, as they would say. But at the end of the day, I think we do, I think now as fans, there are unfortunately two camps. There are the people who, like Mike and myself, are, looking at this and going, God, it used to be good. I'm not asking for it to be good again. I'm not asking for the good old days to come back. But I mean, I do miss the quality. And then there are folks like yourself, Matt, who go, well, this is good. It's still good. And neither one of us are wrong. I don't think you're wrong. And I don't, I would hope you don't think I'm wrong. Because
How are you guys digging The Mandalorian?
Oh, fuck. The Mandalorian's great.
Yeah, I'm loving the hell out of it. I make westerns for a living. The Mandalorian's kicking ass for me.
I mean, it's Lone Wolf and Cub in Star Wars land.
Great, yeah.
Baby Yoda, bro. I mean, we can all agree Baby Yoda's better than the Rise of Skywalker. Just looking at Baby Yoda, and I go, this is better. But the other thing is, I think we can all agree, Mike, Matt, myself, no more Skywalker anything. I think.
I am well done with Skywalkers. Absolutely.
Yeah, the whole thing of making Darth Vader the father, then Luke the sister, and then making the whole first trilogy about Anakin. It's just like it's the Skywalker story, and I was just so through with it.
Yep, and I think they've told the hell out of it, and I'm ready for more Jedi. I'm ready for more Sith. I'm ready for more unaffiliated Force users. I'm ready for more Mandalorians.
Dude, I don't even want Jedi or Sith. I want something else. Because look, Mandalorian unequivocally showed that you could tell a fucking story without Jedis and Sith.
No, there's a Jedi baby at the very least.
Oh my God, a Jedi baby. Okay, sure, but you know what the Jedi baby isn't doing? Jumping around with a lightsaber fighting Christopher Lee.
Not yet. I mean, that was a highlight.
Listen here,
an otherwise terrible
film. Don't wish that upon us. How dare you? But I think at the end of the day with Star Wars, whether we like it or dislike it, whether we think everything's been good, everything's been bad, I think as a fan base we could all agree, no more Skywalker stuff. They need to have a plan, an idea, a cohesive fucking narrative structure for a 3-film arc, which you would normally do if you're doing something like this, where you're gonna essentially be given 3 films. This isn't David Lynch's Dune, where he was like, I'm gonna do a second one. No, you're not. The film was a failure at the box office. The issue here...
they're coming at this like DC does comic book movies, and that is not a recipe worth doing. I don't care how much you believe in this particular writer or this particular director. If it fits into the plan, you can then believe in that director, but it needs to be a part of that plan.
What's my rating scale? Final thought, I wish it was better. I can't wait for the fan edit. I don't know if they'll be able to salvage this thing or not. I don't know, 2 out of 5.
Out of 5. I would say, my final thoughts on it are that it's really beautiful what they've done with a story that was pulled like a tug of war in so many different directions, and I'm really pleased with what we got. I think bringing back Palpatine was wonderful, and I enjoyed just getting to see that guy enjoy the hell out of that role again was great. I would say I would put Rise of Skywalker above The Force Awakens, and both of those for me are above Return of the Jedi. But Skywalker for me it doesn't touch A New Hope. That's still number 3 for me. And then, of course, after that, it's Empire Strikes Back, and the top is still, for me, The Last Jedi. And I would say if The Last Jedi is a 10, and Attack of the Clones is a flaming 0 at the bottom, I guess that means I give The Rise of Skywalker a 7 out of 10.
Listen here, bro.
We're on a scale of 5.
We're on a scale of 5, dog.
So I'd give it a solid 3.5.
Give it your... Okay. This is Chris Stachyw's final thought, just like Jerry Springer used to do. Look, folks, let's be honest. I mean, dead serious here. Well, Jerry Springer joke aside. Let's be honest here, folks. This is a fucking movie. It's a fandom. It's a movie that a guy made, an awkward, nerdy guy made, and he made it into something now that he sold to Disney for billions of dollars. And it's become its thing. He has been, it's gone and it's done its own thing, and people have made their own thing of it. And you know what? At the end of the day, you like it, you hate it. Don't let it drive you apart as fans, because we're all fans of the same thing. You may just react to it one way or another. That being said, Rise of Skywalker had a lot of problems, a lot of things that I personally found to be just taxing and trying on me as a film watcher and as a fan of the fandom and the franchise. So I would give it a 2 out of 5. But again, it's a fandom. You're allowed to be right and wrong. And frankly, none of us are wrong and none of us are right, because this is not high cinema. This is, fucking Star Wars, guys. Come on. Let's get, at the end of the day, it's Star Wars. I'm not going to rank these movies because, Empire Strikes Back, I don't think there's even an argument. But anywho, let's play a preview for the next Kulturecast.
I can't believe it. I'm just so excited to be here. I'm in this dream place.
This one comes highly recommended.
Dream place. What are you doing?
Get out of the car.
Yeah. The girl is still missing.
What's wrong? I just don't know who I am. I wonder where you were going. Mulholland Drive. Come on, it'll be just like in the movies. We'll pretend to be someone else.
This is all an illusion.
You want to know who you are, don't you?
Where's this going?
Mulholland Drive.
It's been a very strange day.
Getting stranger.
That's right. On the next Kulturecast, we're going to be talking about Mulholland Drive and finishing out David Lynch December and all that good shit with more weird David Lynch stuff. If you haven't listened to the other podcasts that we did for David Lynch December, go check them out, especially the Dune podcast. Mike, you know what I'm saying? Shai Halud. Until then, where can people find you, Matt?
You can find me at mattcampagna.com, and you can also find my films on highballtv.com.
What about yourself, Mr. White?
You can find me over at the Projection Booth Podcast, which is projectionboothpodcast.com.
And you can find me here at the Kulturecast. You can find me on the One Season Show. We just started our newest season of the One Season Show talking about Kitchen Confidential. You can also find me on the Barney Miller podcast starting in 2020 with Mike White. Our Kolchak Tapes podcast is officially over. The final podcast came out. It's a sad day, Mike. It's
very sad.
A heavy heart, honestly. Like, honest to God, it was a bittersweet ending. Like you mentioned on Twitter, I'd never finished a podcast before. And, it was a journey we took together. We grew. We met Richard Haddam. There's that. So there you go.
Did we stick the landing?
I think we stuck the landing. Which is good.
It was just weird that we took episode number 33 and we just destroyed the first 32 episodes and just said, forget all those.
Fuck this shit. Kolchak.
We're not going to do a hold-on maneuver. Fuck that.
Oh my God. And you can find me on Twitter, casualty_Chris, at Kulturecast on Twitter, Kulturecast.com. Big thanks to Mike for being here from the get-go, for Matt for joining us, and really, really riling everybody up with controversial Star Wars opinion. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.